kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas.
Ang susunod na programa ay rated PG. Patnubay at gabay kulang ay kailangan sa mga batang manonood.
Join us as we uncover the stories behind every game-changing moment with Bill Velasco. Get ready to dive into the heart of sports because it's time for your favorite sports step into the spotlight.
Isang napakagandang umaga po sa inyo lahat, teammates. Ito po ang Hardball with Bill Velasco. Ngayon po ay Biyernes, April 17, 2026. Ang oras po natin, 11:01.
You're tuned in to Hardball with Bill Velasco.
Mamaya, tunghayan po ninyo ang ating mga panayam sa mga bigating basketball personalities. Unang-una sa lahat, si Alex Cabagnot.
This is Hardball with Bill Velasco.
Pangalawa, ang natitirang kaisa-isang babaeng referee sa PBA.
This is Hardball with Bill Velasco.
At bilang pangwakas, walang iba kundi ang PBA champion, Mr. 100% at ngayon head coach na ng Far Eastern University, Tamaraws, si Sean Chambers.
Hardball with Bill Velasco.
Pero bago tayo magpatuloy, sundan kami sa aming mga social media accounts. Unang-una sa lahat sa Facebook, DWAN 1206 AM. Sa YouTube at DWAN.1206 AM. Sa X, DWAN 1206 AM _ at sa Instagram at DWAN 1206 AM.
You're tuned in to Hardball with Bill Velasco.
Diretso na tayo sa ating mga sports balita ngayong araw. Tuloy na ang laban ni Manny Pacquiao at Floyd Mayweather Jr. bilang isang opisyal na professional fight. Sa isang panayam, sinabi ng 8th Division World Champion na formal na pumayag si Mayweather na maging ganap na pro fight ang paghaharap nila sa September 19 at hindi exhibition lamang. Nauna rito ay nagbanta ang Manny Pacquiao Promotions na kakasuhan nila si Mayweather ng milyon-milyong dolyar kung umatras ito sa naunang kasunduan. Kasabay nito, inutusan ng US Internal Revenue Service o IRS na magbayad si Mayweather ng utang niya sa pamahalaan na $7.3 million. Kung hindi, ay kukunin ang kanyang mga lupain sa Las Vegas.
This is Hardball with Bill Velasco.
Ito yung sinasabi nilang kapit sa patalim ngayon si Floyd Mayweather dahil nauna na siyang pumirma na kailangan professional fight. Ibig sabihin, counted sa record ninyo, sa career records ninyo ang laban na yun at hindi lang siya exhibition. So ibig sabihin, magte-training pa talaga. At kailangan siguraduhin niya na kaya niyang talunin si Manny Pacquiao ulit. No? Pangalawa, kapit sa patalim si Mayweather dahil patong-patong na ang kanyang mga kaso mula pa noong 2015 sa mga utang niyang buwis sa Internal Revenue Service. At last week lang ay sinabihan na siya na mayroong tax lien o ang tawag dito ay karapatan na kunin o ma-sequester ng Internal Revenue Service ang kanyang mga lupa at ibang pag-aari para mabayaran ang $7.3 million na kanyang utang sa pamahalaan. Pangatlo, sinabi ng MP Promotions na kung pagpipilitan niyang maging exhibition lamang ang kanilang laban, ay ididemanda siya at maaari pa siyang makulong maliban sa magbayad ng napakalaking multa. Kaya sa ngayon, no choice si Floyd Mayweather Jr. kundi kagatin ang laban nila ni Manny Pacquiao sa September 19 sa The Sphere sa Las Vegas.
This is Hardball with Bill Velasco.
Mga kalaban ng Gilas Pilipinas 3x3 Women ang mga top ranked team sa mundo sa World Cup sa Warsaw, Poland. Ayon sa pahayag ng FIBA, kasama ng Pilipinas sa Group C ang world number 7 na Latvia at world number 9 na Germany. Makakalaban din ang gilas sa group stage ang world number 12 na Italy at ang China. Ang format ng torneo ay single round robin kung saan ang pinakamatataas na team ay tutuloy sa susunod na round. Noong nakaraang linggo lamang, tinalo ng mga Pinay ang Singapore para makapasok sa World Cup. Ang World Cup ay gaganapin sa unang linggo ng Hunyo sa Warsaw, Poland.
You're tuned in to Hardball with Bill Velasco.
Doon sa aming panayam ni head coach Anton Altamirano, laban lang kung laban, no? Dahil itong World Cup qualifier actually, nagulat din sila na nalaman na lang nila bago sila sumabak sa FIBA Asia Cup 2 weeks ago. At binunyag niya sa akin na marami sila actually na player at iba-ibang kombinasyon ng pinapadala nila depende kung anong tournament ang kanilang sasalihan. Ngayon, ang problema, yung World Cup, ito na yung pinakamataas na antas at ang bibigat ng mga kalaban nila dyan. Kaso next year pa makakasama si Beth Means, yung ating naturalized player. No? Hindi pa siya makakalahok at marami pa silang sasalihang tournament ngayon bago pa sumalang sa World Cup. And we always wish them the best. At alam niyo naman dito sa Hardball, basta atletang Pilipino, sinusuportahan natin.
This is Hardball with Bill Velasco.
Sa unang pagkakataon, may manlalarong nanguna sa NBA sa rebounds at assists sa isang season. Sa pagtatapos ng regular season, may average na 12.9 rebounds at 10.7 assists per game si Denver Nuggets center Nikola Jokic. Ngayon lang ito nangyari sa kasaysayan ng liga. Dagdag pa rito, may average pa na 27.7 points at 56.9% field goal shooting ang Serbian center. Sa kaugnay na balita sa isang survey ng mga media ng NBA, halos 70% ang naniniwalang makukuha ni Jokic ang kanyang ika-4 na Most Valuable Player Award. Kasunod ni Jokic sa talaan sila dating MVP Shai Gilgeous-Alexander ng Oklahoma City at Victor Wembanyama ng San Antonio Spurs.
Hardball with Bill Velasco.
Pinantayan ng Rain or Shine Elasto Painters ang PBA record para sa pinakamaraming 3-point shot sa isang laro. Nagpaulan ng 23 3-point shot ang kasalukuyang leader ng liga nang talunin nila ang Terra Firma 124-117 Martes ng gabi. 10 manlalaro ng kupunan ang nakabuslo ng 3-point shot kabilang ang isang 4-point shot sa pangunguna ni Anton Asistio. Kasalukuyang may 7 panalo na ang ROS para manguna sa PBA Commissioner's Cup.
This is Hardball with Bill Velasco.
4 na broadcast network ang nagpahayag ng interes na maging TV partner ng National Collegiate Athletic Association o NCAA. Noong Pebrero pa lang, sinabi ng GMA Network na hindi na nito dudugtungan ang 5 taong kontrata para sa TV coverage ng NCAA. Mula noon, nagpadala na ng imbitasyon ng liga sa mga maaaring sumunod na partner. Kabilang ang ABS-CBN, Billionario News Channel, People's Television at Net25 sa mga gustong makuha ang prangkisa ng NCAA. Formal nang nagtapos ang pagsasama ng NCAA at GMA Network noong nakaraang Biyernes.
This is Hardball with Bill Velasco.
Walang problema po kasi ang hamon po sa kahit sinong broadcast network na umako ng basketball league, no, whether that's PBA, NBA, UAAP, NCAA, yung oras po kasi hindi po natin masukat ng todo-todo ang oras kakainin ng mga basketball games, no? At lalo na kung early evening yan o prime time, masasagasaan yung mga regular programming at lalong-lalo na yung news na napakahalaga sa isang network. At kung halimbawa sabihin natin collegiate yan or professional game, you will have to allocate 5 hours or mababa na yung 4 hours. Tapos yung oras pa in between games na 10 to 15 minutes. So malaking kinakain yan sa possible revenue stream, no, sa pwedeng kitain ng isang TV network. At maliban pa dyan, kung ibebenta nila para mabawi ang kanilang ginastos, malaking hamon din sa kanila yan. So sugal talaga pag nag-cover kayo ng isang basketball league dahil hindi nyo matatansya na eksaktong matatapos sa oras ang mga games at maapektuhan, no, magkakaroon ng domino effect yung mga kasunod niyang programa. So tingnan natin kung sino po ang makakakuha ng NCAA para sa susunod na 5 taon.
This is Hardball with Bill Velasco.
At sa ating pagbabalik, sunod-sunod na po ang ating mga interview. Dito lamang yan sa
Hardball with Bill Velasco.
Sa bawat pag-alis ng isang OFW, may pangarap. Pero may takot din. Takot na sa pag-uwi, wala pa ring kabuhayan, walang kasiguruhan. Pero nagbago ang kwento. Sa pagsisimula pa lang ng Department of Migrant Workers, maliwanag ang direksyon ni Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr. Itaguyod ang National Reintegration Program.
Ito yung program ng Department of Migrant Workers para tuloy-tuloy ang tulong sa kahit nakauwi na yung OFW, ay may tulong pa rin sila natatanggap sa pamahalaan.
Sa kanilang pag-uwi ay dapat ganap ang tulong at suporta, hindi mga government agencies na magkakahiwalay, kundi sanib puwersa.
Mula sa mga training para sa pag-empleyo at pagninegosyo, binubuksan ang mga oportunidad na dati sa ibang bansa lang natatagpuan. Last week, personal na binisita ng Pangulo ang iba't ibang training na ibinibigay ng DMW. Tulad ng negosyo ng soap making sa Laguna. Isa ito sa mga negosyong ngayon nagbibigay ng bagong kita at bagong pag-asa sa ating mga OFW. Isang dating seaman, chef at housekeeping staff. Ngayon, mga negosyante na. Sa pagninegosyo, gumagabay ang Department of Trade and Industry.
Ang laki ng ginawa nilang sakripisyo para magtrabaho sa ibang bansa. Tinatawag natin silang bagong bayani. Dapat naman, pag uwi nila, meron din tayo may tulong sa kanila para patuloy naman ang kanilang anak.
Sa buong bansa, tuloy-tuloy ang trabaho. Isa-isang inaayos sa mga bagay na nagpapagaan sa buhay ng mga Pilipino. Ang pag-uwi para sa mga OFW, hindi nakatapusan, kundi isang matapang na simula para sa ating mga bagong bayani.
Let's get started. First of all, Alex, thanks for your time. Thanks for growing us this interview. What does it feel? How does it feel to be back in the PBA?
It feels great. I love it. I love it. It's actually kind of surreal because it's I think my 20th year in professional basketball. It's the 19th year in the PBA, so it's kind of surreal. And I'm just enjoying every single moment of it right now.
Has anything changed from the young Alex Cabagnot to the senior statesman Alex Cabagnot?
I hope there's a few. That change. There's more to. Madami nagbago. Obviously, with the right tutelage from the right coaches. My boss, Steady, helped me. Navigate myself in as you know, sir, the basketball industry is like a corporation as well.
Yeah.
And it's hard to believe when you start off, you're just a male guy, a male delivery guy.
Yeah.
You don't know anything, but going into like the draft and stuff like that, you think you're closer to the CEO, but you're more closer to the basement than anything.
Yeah.
You're closer to the basement, the more you understand that. And I'm glad that there's a lot of people that's been guiding me through this long tenure that I've had.
20 years. What was it like for you? I mean, how did you first get involved in basketball? Was it when you were a kid in California? What was it? How did you get into the game?
Well, my brother played. My cousins played. That's that's a staple in a Filipino family, especially
Yes.
a lot of boy cousins, a lot of uncles. So basketball was definitely a staple. I didn't take it as seriously. I just went with the flow. I went with the flow as if my cousins were playing basketball, then I would just join them. I think basketball became a part of our, growing up as well, like our social, social economics as well. Growing up in the States, parang lahat ng mga Filipino, everybody would play basketball. So, you just hang out at the park and with your friends. And by the time I knew it, parang I was going around and playing basketball a little bit more seriously. But it was just something to do with my brother, my cousins, and I wanted to tag along loud.
Okay. When did you take it seriously?
I started taking basketball seriously. Like I got into this organization. It's called Hoop Town, and we were traveling around the greater Los Angeles area, and sometimes
Was that an AAU team?
that's an AAU team. Yes. And this was before the AAU teams. Now they have certain divisions, right? They have division gold division. They have silver. They have before. This goes to show my age. Yung ano namin dati. Yung ano namin yung mga AAU namin dati. Diretso ka na, gold division. Walang mga division divisions. It's like if you have an AAU, you sign up for AAU, and then they give you a card, and then your team is allocated to the AAU. Meron mga tournaments yung mga AAU, and then yung mga teams ng AAU dati, I want to say it was only 15 to 20 teams, but that's all of Los Angeles. So like we would play against like Tyson Chandler. I played against Tyson Chandler growing up. Their team was definitely very good. Now these days, kids won't do that because the organization now, it was like the top EYBL and the Nike programs and all those. So they won't play like a organization, like a Filipino organization like that, because hindi ka pwede pumasok sa mga tournaments basta-basta sa EYBL or stuff like that. But before, it was like, okay, there's 8 teams and we were one of the 8. I know we played, and one morning we walked in. It was a 9 o'clock game. I remember it was a 9 o'clock game, and I saw the 7-footer. It was Tyson Chandler at 14 and under. And I was like, oh my gosh. And puro Filipino lang kami, mga Pinoy lang kami, obviously, mga predominantly Filipino. So, parang kami, ano gagawin namin dito? Magpe-press lang tayo. Ano gagawin natin dito? But yeah, that's when I started taking it so and stuff like that.
Hey, you went to Eagle Rock, right?
Yes, I went to Eagle Rock, sir.
So, when you got, what brought you to the Philippines from California?
Meron mga, my area, Eagle Rock, Glendale, Madax, Carson, the greater Los Angeles area. Madami pumupunta sa the Philippines. There was the Mike Ortiz, he went to LaSalle, to Willie Wilson, and to Dijon Lee, and Sebastian. Sila yung mga upper batch sa akin. So, mga 2 years ahead sila sa akin, sila Denver Lopez, King Valenzuela, mga taga San Diego. So, nakikita ko na, like, wow, they're really... So, it wasn't like solely... I didn't reinvent the wheel, sir, like, by any means. I didn't reinvent the wheel. I just went along with it. Nakikita ko sila, I saw them, they would go to these tryouts, and it's a funny story, sir. Yung coach namin dati, nagsisend ng mga Pinoy sa Pilipinas. Yung tatay ni Tony Winston, si coach.
Okay.
Yeah. That's how full circle it's come. So, there were agents, sila Cheeky, rest in peace, Cheeky, Mark Pagiwa. He was my brother. My brother was a senior, and 1 year apart lang sila. So, parang nakikita ko na, like, obviously, I've always watched my brother play basketball sa mga varsity games nila. So, nakikita ko na talaga si Mark. Talaga, he was Halimaw before Halimaw. He was already good, like, in 9th, 10th grade, like, everybody, all the Filipino teams would try to get him, and then lalaban sila sa mga ibang ano. Like, he was already a superstar in my mind. So like when I saw those guys do it, I just said, you know what, there's a blueprint already. There's a blueprint that I just need to follow, and hopefully, I can make it. But sir, for every Mark Aguilar, for every Jimmy Alapag, or even for every Michael Paul, for every me, there's thousands. I want to say thousands and thousands and thousands of kids that tried and can't get through. So it's a privilege to definitely be in the PBA, especially in my time. Ayun lang talaga yung pangarap namin. It's like, I mean, let's be honest, NBA was not one of my choices. Let's be honest. So talagang, but for every person that got drafted before, there was, I want to say, 1,000 Filipino Americans that either wanted to get in. Magaling sila, magaling talaga sila. Pero I don't want to say politics, pero walang paperwork. Wala yun. Kasi dati, DOJ, malakas yung DOJ dati, di ba? Yung mga DOJ, yung mga migration, yung mga paperwork na gano'n, yung mga, siyempre naman, yung mga, if you migrated for like 10 years, hindi naman nakalain ng mga parents mo na babalik ka doon, di ba? So yung mga paperwork nila din, na-petition na sila, hindi na sila Pilipino, tapos na-petition ka na din, mas nahihirapan yung proseso. So, yeah, I just definitely, followed, and, I was very blessed, and definitely blessed to make it through with the cracks. Because there was a lot of players that I've seen that were definitely, if not definitely more talented and more athletic than I was. Pero, by the graces of God, nakapasok ako.
Okay. I heard that you broke Mark Aguilar's scoring record at Eagle Rock. Is that true?
That is true.
I heard that there might have been some beef between the two of you when you came over.
No, I wish I would have, like I said, like I was when you get into like a big industry like this, you forget that you're starting from the very, very bottom, right? Like very bottom. Assistant to the bill, boy. Assistant. That's how far. And obviously when I came in, he already had 2 championships. There's no comparison by any means. And when I did get here, I guess that was one of the ways that they could market me, that I beat Mark record. That was one of the ways, because back then there was no social media. Pero walang mga social media, so it was going to go up here soon. But it was true, though. I did beat his record, but I did play 4 years of varsity. I have to give him a grace. He only played 2. So he accumulated all those points in 2 years, and I had to beat it in 3.5, 4 years. So talagang it was definitely and our games, as you know, sir, our games are totally different. Mark is a scorer. Mark is a flat out can score. I'm more of like a facilitator, if anything. Like scoring would be like a second option for me. But so it kind of didn't make sense when people saw it. They were like, paano nila beat to? Hindi naman siya score. Kasi pagdating ni Mark sa PBA, mga 13 points na siya, 15 points na siya, 20. So parang it doesn't make sense. But when you're at that bottom of the totem pole, it's hard to explain and get a platform. When she like, no, it's not. I beat it in 4 years. So
that's why I'm asking. Clear the air on that issue.
Clear the air. But Mark, I'm gonna send this to Mark. I did beat the records.
It just took twice as long.
We just took twice as long. Yeah, we did took twice.
There's an asterisk there.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell me some of your favorite memories with San Miguel.
It's too much. Miracle is definitely one. I remember my first championship. We were still under San Miguel franchise, but we were with Petron. So my first championship in 2011 when we were depleted, and actually, funny story, Kuya Dan hit the game-winning shot in the first game. So we had an import named Anthony Grundy. He passed away, rest in peace. And we were just an underdog team, and we beat a very loaded contract. We had Jimmy, we had Jason, Ranidell, Ryan, Jared, just a very talented Larry Punisher, one of my batchmates, and the people. So they were very talented, and I guess one of those games, and we stopped them from becoming Grand Slam.
Ouch.
They're they're vying for Grand Slam, so we were, Joseph Yo, I remember, was injured. We had Denok played really well. It was me, Denok playing together with Arwin and Danny I, and the rest was history. We won in Game 7. We got that. So that's one. The miracle, winning five all Filipinos in a row. That was definitely another one. And other than the accolades, more like yung samahan namin. Right. I think it's evident naman whenever I'm around those guys or whenever we're around each other, it's like we always zoom back to the good old days, right? And then we have conversations between ourselves, even if it's amongst a lot of people. It's just, we go back to just, little intricacies of our relationship. But definitely a lot of great memories with them.
Okay. If I remember correctly, you had like 4 players in the mythical team or something like that.
Yeah, at one time we had 4. And kulang na lang maging 5. But yeah, we had one of those. Great. We had, any team that has, Juma Fajardo is definitely great. 8-time MVP, he's definitely great. So, and when you mix them, like, I consider myself a role player. I just played my role in that involved organization, and whatever, I actually knew what they wanted from me since I've been with them since 2009, right? So, alam ko yung pumasok ako doon, na-establish na yung role ko kagad. Kasi si Olsen nandun pa, Dario nandun pa, si Dorian nandun pa, DS was still there. So, yung pagpasok ko talaga doon, 2001, I was like, all right, okay, this is how I'm going to contribute. I'm going to get these guys the ball. As much as possible. And lo and behold, if I get open, I have to make a basket, So I have to compliment, Centennial players, right? I have to compliment, like, all-star legends themselves. So when the new guys came in, the new batch came in from kami lang holdovers, si Arvin and me from the 2011 championship. Kami lang yung holdovers. Pagdating nila, like, si Arwin, he was coming into age. I don't think people understood. Arwin played the 3.
Yeah.
Arwin played the 3. He only played the 4 because we had some injuries, and then nalo kami championship. And from then on, nalo kami championship. Dire-diretso na siya sa 4. But before, Arwin used to play the wing. When we got there 2009, he was in the wing. He was, the wing with Lordy Tugade. He was in the wing because we got 4 and 5. We already have 4 and 5. Pero once we won the 2011 championship, it cemented him to the number 4 guy. And then, we had the Chris Lutz, and we had Marcio come in, and then Chris Ross. And, since I already knew how to play my role from the guys before, hindi ko naman in-exert yung sarili ko na, and Junmar came in. Hindi ko na-exert yung sarili ko na ako yung pinakamatanda dito. I'm gonna get the most shots. I never exerted that. I just was like, you guys are talented too. I respected their game from the get-go, from the word go, So when Marshall came in, I was like, wow, this guy's an ultimate talent, ultimate talent. Chris Lutz, before his hip injury, he was dominant for us. Like very dominant for us. So having those 2 guys in the wing, and Junmar and Arwin, and the acquisition of Chris Ross, I think that's the best. I don't think people like the relationship of Chris Ross and that Alan. I don't think it's talked about more, but we had to coexist because Chris Ross is a point guard, and I'm a point guard, so we had to actually like allocate, and we had to more so, a campaign to be on the court together. Obviously, you got very smart coaches, But they finally figured out that, two of these guys on the same, on the court, having 2 point guards on the court, when shooters and a big dominant guy will work out. And instead of splitting time, we did exactly what me and Denok did in the finals in 2011. We actually played together. And I guess some teams, they feel like yung mga 2 guards magpo-poste. Pero yung mga ganun game, wala kang ganun, sir. Kasi now, the game now, wala nang ganun game kasi wala nang illegal defense. Wala nang illegal defense. Hindi na pwede yung malaki akong 2 guard tapos magpo-poste lang ako tapos yung illegal defense, walang help. Kailangan mag-help nyo. May mga pwede na mag-sand down. So, it wasn't, and Chris Ross is 6'4". He's 6'2". Yeah. So he's a big guy. So nobody's posting him up. So he could guard the best guy, and then Marcio and Arwing. And we had guys that can defend. So it's not talked about enough that when Chris Ross and I finally had, sometimes it's difficult to go against the grain of what you know. And it's very difficult. It's just very difficult. So we had to campaign, and we had to, obviously, being in the industry long enough, you could word things differently and you could go about things differently that it comes out in a positive way. And I'm glad that Chris Ross and I were old enough to know how to speak and to know how to navigate and to know how to tread in those murky waters well enough so we could be both on the court together.
Without offending anybody.
Without offending anybody. And you know what? I think that's the best thing about like our relationships with all those guys is like, siyempre naman alam namin there's a blueprint of how to win a championship towards the latter years of our partnership with those guys. Pero you still gotta let the higher ups be higher ups. You still have to let everybody be everybody. They have to play the role, and you have to, coincide and try to mix in positive energy enough that they could be like, okay, magandang idea yan. Instead of offend them, collaborate with them. And I think that's what we did very well. As you can tell, me and Chris are very, Chris is a likable guy. Everybody in the community likes him. In our team, you definitely like him. Both of us are, I want to say the same. He's more likable than me. But so we used our samahan or, communication. Alam mo naman yung tagline ng San Miguel, samahan ng walang katulad. So, that's the yung tagline ng San Miguel. So, samahan ng walang katulad. So, we gotta go towards Mercy Waparos.
What did they tell you when you left San Miguel?
Oh, I can remember. It was, they called me in. They called me in the office. And they just told me like, hey, we're going a different direction, And, so they're like, it wasn't my first time being traded. I was actually traded a few times already. Santa Lucia and Coke from Burger King to San Miguel. And then I went to Northport and went back to San Miguel. So at this point in time, as you know, like, you kind of know the industry. You kind of know how to like tread water, right? You kind of know where to go. It's not uncharted anymore. So when they said that to me, I gave them a big hug. I told them like, oh, I'm just so appreciative. And I think Boss Robert and Boss G and Coach Leo and all the coaching staff, they know that. That's why I could still go in the dugout. Even playing against them now, I can still go in the dugout. I can make kwento with them. It's never like, hindi masama yung loob ko, and I know hindi masama yung loob nila. I feel that, that time was a great time of my career. I enjoyed it. Time naman kung detain ko yun, kung sisiraan ko yung bridge na yun, or sisiraan ko yung samahan na yun. I mean, it lasted, it happened. every time I see them, as you can tell, we're very cordial, we're very amicable. Like I could sit with them, and it was good. But at that moment in time, I was being traded to terra firma. I remember this. You know, the boss there, it's si Ronald. Si Ronald. Mini-message na ako ni Ronald, kailan ka pupunta dito sa practice? Sabi ko, Dad, I need at least a week, dude. Let me let this sink in first. You know, let me just die down first. Like I don't, you know. But my reception was there as well. It was great as well. You know, when you've been in the industry as long as I had, you know, konting pakisama goes a long way. You know, konting pakisama goes a mile, right? So I think that's what the one thing we did, and you know, right now we're playing against them.
Yeah, speaking of that, how far do you think Converge can go?
You know, we're gonna take a game at a time. We're at practice, and then we're always talking about different scenarios and different certain stuff on the drawing board that we address. So hindi kami napapako for a long period of time and go scoreless. But you know, our rotation defensively. So we're always just, you know, bouncing ideas off each other. We're watching film. So as long as we put the effort in, as long as we put the effort into winning, as long as we put the effort into preparing, which is the most important part, I think sky's the limit for us. I'm just happy that we won that last game. Alex Stockton hit a game winner.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that for me that was huge. That was huge because we're still alive, and you know those things we want to continue. We want to stretch out the series even longer, but you know that's up to God Himself. The best thing we could do is just prepare our bodies, be available. Players need to be available. Players and coaches need to prepare, and we'll go from there.
You also got to play in Taiwan.
Yeah.
Three of the bubble champion Lakers, including Dwight Howard. What was that experience?
Oh, it was amazing. For like we won the Taiwan leg, the championship. It was me, DeMarcus. Obviously, it was DeMarcus. It was Dwight. It was Quinn Cook and everybody else in the Taiwan. And that good something. No,
Must have been an easy job for you, huh?
It was those guys. I was just. You know, it's funny, sort of like how basketball takes you to different places. I mean, like I would have never thought 6 years ago I would be teammates with DeMarcus Cousins, Dwight Howard, and Quinn Cook playing in Taiwan. It was a different venue. It was in Taiwan, Taipei. It was just amazing. It was like God is good. Definitely, God is good. I would have never thought that 6 years ago, if we had this interview, that you would have told me like we're gonna play with Dwight Howard. You're gonna play with
No way.
I would be like, no way. You're that's insane. And before, and that was just by that alone, that thought process alone, I couldn't get over it. I was in cloud nine. I couldn't get over it. I mean, yes, obviously we won by a great margin because who wouldn't if you have those two guys, right? You have three guys like that, dominating, and you got guys like me that's facilitating, so they could do exactly, you know. So it was just amazing. And before that, sir, I was in Korea. I played.
Yeah, I know.
I played definitely 5 months. So this last year, this year alone, sir, has been a whirlwind. I went from Korea 4 or 5 months, and then I was in Taiwan for 4 months. So lo and behold, I was with Coach Chris in Taiwan for 4 months. I was in Korea for 5. So this whole year, I haven't stopped playing yet. I went from 3 countries this whole year. So, and now we're in the playoffs. For Converge. I'm very happy for Converge. I wasn't following them as much last year. So I was in another country. I would still follow the PBA, but you know, I gotta be honest, I wasn't following Converge. I was following my friends, which were Walby Chon last year, he had an amazing year. He was dominant last year. I was always keeping tabs on Isaac Ghost, Stephen Holt. You know, the guys that kasama ko sa Terra Firma. And obviously, because they're my guys, I was keeping tabs with San Miguel because, you know, lo and behold, at the end of the game, like I'm a fan of those guys, and I'm a fan of. So yeah, I was just following those two teams. So when we won this playoff game the other day, and they were talking about it, I was just overhearing them. They were like, "That's the first playoff game I think Converge has ever won."
Yes.
I think I was like, "Wow, that's amazing." And last year, I think they won 2 or 3 games. I can't really. Last year in the 2 conferences, I think they won 2 or 3 games, and right now we won 7 in a month.
Yeah.
So if you're a business minded person, that's almost what 3 times 3.
Yeah.
In less than a quarter of the year, right? You made you tripled what you made in 1 month than what you did the whole year last year. So if I was, obviously, if I was thinking like that, I'd be like, wow, it's amazing. So, Coach Franco, Charles, and the rest of the coaching staff, Coach Franco, Tom, and everybody else here is doing a great job as well. So, all the credit to them.
Right, and a lot of credit to you too. And so, thank you so much for your time, Alex. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Sorry it took so long. Sorry it took so long. I'm sorry.
I'm living a second life, so I've got time on my hands.
I just want to, sir, if I could just say, like we were talking about a while ago, we were talking about how I didn't want to reinvent the wheel going into the process of, as a kid, going to the PBA. I actually have an organization. It's called Phil Nation Select. And now we actually educate. Kasi alam mo naman, sir, pagka overseas worker ka, kako-migrate mo lang doon. Most parents there are so busy working. That they forget to, not forget, but maybe they just lose track of the fact that kailangan ko din yung passport ng anak ko before 16.
Yeah.
Kasi pag hindi ko kinuha yun, hindi ma-open up yung doors para sa kanya. And Phil Nation Select, not just with basketball, we do baseball, football, volleyball, we do all sports, and we just want to educate the parents, and we want to build the bridge between the players, the mga talented, just a whole farm of players for the coaches here. Like we've had certain guys like Jacob Bela, Jaden from FPU, Zane, Mahmoud Zane in UST, Alter in UP. We have guys that's definitely come here. We have Jace Miller from DWAN. So we have an organization that's pushing Filipino American, Filipino Canadian, Filipino Australian to go to follow their dreams here. And
Wonderful.
through that process, we help them with paperwork, and we help them educate them with paperwork. Obviously, we have services for that, but that's the best thing to do is always educate parents, because they'll do it themselves for future reference. So yeah, just a quick shout out to Phil Nation. Like we had a global summit recently in Chicago, and we had more than 400 campers. So
Nice.
We're just doing all those things. We're going back to Saudi Arabia. This is our 3rd year going back to Saudi Arabia. We went to Gabon first year, and we went to Saudi Arabia. So we're gonna go there for the 3rd time. And I love my Saudi Arabian Filipinos out there. I know the Filipinos out there need as much, bridging as possible, because they have great talent and they want to go back to the Philippines as well. So we bridge it all with them. So I just want to give a shout out to all the members, all the camp directors, all the coaches that has been part of that integral process.
Well, let us know. Hardball will always back you up. You know that.
Of course.
All right. Thanks, Alex. Take care of yourself and good luck in playoffs.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Hope to see you soon.
Maging fuel efficient. Siguraduhin na walang bagahe na di kinakailangan sa sasakyan. Magmaneho ng wasto at iwasan ang idling. May savings ka na aabot sa 15%.
This is a public service announcement from the Department of Energy and this station.
Balitang nakala.
Mamulat ng kanyang mga si Presidente at si
Binantayan. Sinuri. Nilatag at inihayag. 13 sa tanghali. Kasama sina Greg Gregorio, Naj Miravalles at Zai Chua. 13 sa tanghali sa ganap na alauna dito sa IBC 13.
Magandang araw, si Ding Dong Dantes po ito. Narinig niyo na rin ba sa balita yung The Big One? O ang kinatatakutang malakas na lindol na pwedeng mangyari sa Pilipinas? Alam ko nakakatakot. Napakaraming tanong sa isip natin. Anong gagawin ko kapag nangyari yun? Saan ako pupunta? Paano ko ililigtas ang pamilya ko? Sa bawat tanong na yan, dapat may nakahanda tayong sagot at aksyon. Dahil mapapanatag tayo kung alam natin ang gagawin sa panahon ng sakuna. #panatag ang may alam.
Pangarap mong maging milyonaryo? Sa PCSO Lotto, magkakatotoo. Mas pinasaya, mas pinabongga, mas pinalaki ang mga jackpot prizes. Araw-araw ang bola, kaya more chances of winning sa PCSO Lottery Draws. Lunes hanggang Linggo, tuwing 2 p.m., 5 p.m., and 9 p.m. Headlines everywhere. Pero ano nga ba ang totoong nangyayari sa Senado at Kongreso? Get the real story, minus the headache. On Session Unplugged, hosted by Daniel Manalastas and Earl Tobias, breaking down the week's biggest hearings, hottest bills, and most talked about issues. In plain, everyday language. Quick, clear, conversational. Session Unplugged every Friday, 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. on DWAN 1206 a.m.
Paano? Gusto ko lang maglaro. I mean, simula nung bata pa lang. Larong kalye, sa labas ng bahay, ganyan hanggang dun sa nag-aral. Elementary, high school. Nagkaroon ng proper training or knowledge about sports talaga. Bukod dun sa mga traditional na larong Pinoy, di ba? So, natuto na ako yung volleyball, basketball, softball, yan. So, since elementary. Napunta ako sa basketball nung college na ako. Dahil sa scholarship. Ayan. Kasi kailangan ko ng scholarship para makapag-aral. Ayun, makatulong sa pag-aaral ko. No, hindi ko plano maging referee. So, hindi ko pangarap maging referee. Gusto ko lang siyang subukan. And that time kasi mayroon akong mentor before. Actually, may group na kami sa Laguna, Association ng mga Basketball Referees. Pero during that time, hindi pa ako nagre-referee table official lang. So, in-encourage niya ako na sumubok sa PBA agad. Former PBA referee siya, and during that time, sa academician, so nagtuturo siya ng mga referee sa PBA. So, dinala niya ako sa Manila. Yung takbo ng takbo. Ayun talaga, gusto ko yung active yung katawan, and gusto ko yung sense of fulfillment na nararamdaman ko after ng game. Yun. I think yung pagdating sa sa personal na buhay, I mean sa family, kapag may mga bashing ng ganyan, kapag may nababasa yung mga parents ko. And siguro isa din yung kapag during game, before, yung worry ko is pag nanood sila ng live, parang anong mararamdaman nila kapag may nagmura sa akin or may narinig silang hindi maganda. Choice na din, I think. Kasi may iba-iba tayong path eh. So, I think ako yung nilagay ni Lord na din na magtagal. And kasi parang nandito na rin ako eh, parang sayang. And nagustuhan ko na rin yung ginagawa ko. At first talaga try lang. Pero habang tumatagal, na-enjoy ko siya, nagugustuhan ko. And hanggang ngayon, gusto ko pa rin mag-grow, gusto ko pa rin umangat yung level of officiating. I don't think so. Kasi baka nahihiya, siguro, yung term. Pero yung takot, siguro hindi. Kasi pag dating sa loob ng court, mas okay sa akin na ang tingin nila is lahat kami referee, hindi yung babae ako. Parang mas nararamdaman ko yung trabaho ko. Parang mas nararamdaman ko na referee ako pag gano'n. Ayun, nag-gym. Minsan, cardio, then sa food din. Pero honestly, ngayong off-season, hindi masyado. So, pero ayun talaga, kailangan control sa pagkain, pili ng food choices, and yung regular workouts. Kasi na ACL na rin ako before, so mas alaga sa katawan. Kasi ang hirap. Ang hirap din makabalik and yung recovery period. Ang gusto ko makapag-referee internationally sa FIBA. Yan. Gusto kong makarating sa World Cup or sana Olympics, yung mga ganun. Trust the process. Ayun. And enjoyin nyo kung nasan kayo ngayon, anong ginagawa nyo. Parang huwag muna kayong mag-settle sa isang bagay. Marami pa kayong ma-experience, matutuklasan. Ang lawak ng mundo. And do your best lang lagi, always. And trust mo i-trust nyo yung plan ni God para sa inyo kaysa sa plano natin, sa sarili natin.
You're tuned in to Hardball with Bill Velasco.
At bago tayo magtapos, isang espesyal na pagbate kay Nanay Elena at Tatay Ronnie Fernandez. Happy 52nd wedding anniversary po itong darating na Sunday. God bless you. Thank you for always remembering us. Dito, mga mga solid na Ginebra San Miguel fans.
This is Hardball with Bill Velasco.
At iniimbitahan ko kayo na tangkilikin ang ating mga online sports channels tulad na lang ng Basketball Universe PHL tuwing Lunes at Biyernes ng gabi.
Hardball with Bill Velasco.
At bukas naman po, panibagong episode ng Secret Sports Stories. Makikita nyo sa YouTube, Facebook, Instagram at kung saan-saan pa.
This is Hardball with Bill Velasco.
Yan ang ating programa para sa araw at linggong ito. Muli ang Hardball ay masusubaybayan mula Lunes hanggang Biyernes alas 11 ng umaga hanggang alas 12 ng tanghali. Dito lang po yan sa DWAN 1206 AM. Susunod na, The Showbiz Authority. Ako si Bill Velasco. Magkita-kita po tayo muli sa Lunes.
This is Hardball